Welcome, everybody, to, oh gosh, I'm not sure what episode this is of The Safe Lane, but we're going to call it Season 2, Episode 2, since it is our second episode of 2018. I
That
am
works.
Travis Elliott, otherwise known as Rafi Dota, and with me, as always, is my friend and coworker, Jack Ballinger. Jack, we have a short show today.
Yes, very short. We're going to be touching on some qualifier drama, some roster change drama, and then at least we get to finish it up on a positive note with the Valve statement on major timing and the size of those events. But let's just go ahead and get started with our first round of drama, which is surrounding the recent qualifiers for the two literally back-to-back majors, ESL Katowice and the PGL Bucharest major.
Yes.
So for those unfamiliar with it, there was some pretty major conflicts in all regions, right, for these two tournaments,
Yeah, I think so.
or their qualifiers more specifically. Notably, PPD took to Twitter to set everyone right, and we got a pretty ridiculous, to be honest, couple days of drama surrounding that. There was a statement from ESL and a big Reddit thread.
I didn't see the statement from ESL, but so just kind of like for anybody who wasn't aware that this was happening, which if you follow Dota 2, especially on Twitter, it's hard to believe that you didn't see this go down. But I think it was it two? I think it was two matches, or two different tournaments. Excuse me, two different tournaments where Optic was disqualified or something of the sort because one of them I thought they might have gotten worked out and they actually got to play, but I can't be sure. I followed it loosely as I was busy celebrating my birthday on the day that all this happened, which a little bit of a shame that I didn't get to view all of this, but it was for good reason. But you can already see that on January 10th, Peter tweets out, "Thanks, Ritsu, for taking 10-minute bathroom breaks at the start of all 6 games." Not sure if that's sarcastic or not. A little bit before that, he was like 5 minutes late for ESL, so the admin DQ'd us. Tried our best to play in all the qualifiers, but it seems our hopes for the major in Katowice have come to end. Suppose this is our punishment for taking both series to 3 games. GG's.
Well, they did win the Bucharest qualifiers, so they're going to that major,
right?
At least, I guess. But it seems like, and we're never gonna really know what happened because both sides have given kind of different accounts of the events, and you got to make of that what you will. But the rules stated that they were, I believe it was 15 minutes late, and they were going to get DQ'd for that. They were supposedly that late, according to the ESL statements from their PR guy and admins. So they gave the win to, I believe it was VCJ Storm. And I think there was another tweet about that. I think he thanked Jack KBBQ
and
for
the team.
What was it, like undermining the scene or some shit?
So the tweets read, let's see, there's 2 of them. DQ'd, frowny face, not a fan of having to choose between major qualifiers. 3 qualifiers to play in January, and they all take place at the same time over the 5 of the month's 31 days. Hope Valve is watching and brainstorming a new system for next year. Second circuit event we've had to forfeit. Also, shout out to Team VGJ and KBBQ Dota for routinely accepting forfeit wins and screwing over their fellow NA competitors. Really setting the bar high for this community. Thank you. Hopefully you will never be in this ill-fated scenario.
Man, I really hate that attitude. Should never be on the team to make that decision in the first place.
And I mean, like,
following the rules.
Has somebody who's admin before, you're not supposed to put that omen on the team, because I mean, like, then you put people in the position to make these claims like Peter made on Twitter of being like, wow, thanks for, being a competitor and taking a forfeit win when you knew we were on our way. And it's like, well, I'm a competitor. What do you expect me to do? Like, they're giving me a pass on you. They're saying they didn't show up on time, so we're giving you the option. You can either wait or you can take a forfeit win and you get to move on to the next round scot free. Of course you're going to take that free win. Who wouldn't take a free win? I understand loving competition, but if you, like, especially a managerial role, your position is to further your team and look out for their best interest. Your team's best interest is to not risk losing a game, to get as far as they possibly can. So that free win, hell yeah, I'm going to take that every single time. I don't give a fuck who you are. But I mean, this is definitely on the admins of that tournament. Never should you ever tell VGJ, hey, do you want to wait or do you want a forfeit win? Because then they're to blame. Like, the blame gets shoved off onto them.
I remember this being a big issue like a long time ago, back when, you know, it was more common to play all these online tournaments, sometimes cross region.
Right.
This is an issue from like 2015 that it's honestly been a while since it's coming to the forefront like this. I was surprised, to be frank.
I've DQ'd teams before in arguably those smaller tournaments than this, but I never once was like, well, do you want to wait? It's like, this team is 10 minutes past their 15-minute time. They get a game 1 def loss. And then I tell the other team, in 15 minutes, this will be a game 2 def loss and you will have a 2-0 win. I do not give them a choice. I do not say that. And even if somebody's like, oh, well, we're willing to wait, my response is, okay, it's still a def win for you guys. I don't care if you're willing to wait. That's not your job.
So it seems like these tournaments had both scheduled their qualifiers like right on top of the other. And
I really don't know how that happens. Like,
even though I think ESL was first, like, it's still just.
It's got to be. It's either absolutely ignorant to the point where it's almost not believable, or it's petty. Like, I just don't understand, because like these teams or these orgs have to be like, oh, well, we want all the teams to be able to compete at ours, so maybe if we don't make them choose, then even though, ESL gets the teams that they want, we get teams that we want too. I don't understand why they're all on top of each other, because the even during my tenure as the manager of Leviathan, like, there's so much communication between the people that is planning these and all of the managers of all of the different teams who voice all of their concerns and stuff to the people trying to help with this schedule. It's just, there's no way that these qualifiers had to be on the same 5 days. There's no way.
Well, fortunately, it didn't actually take very long for Valve to step in and strike this down. They released a statement a couple of days ago that going forward, they're going to be setting a much more rigorous framework for what a major has to be. They've come up with 3 dates spread throughout the year, and their proposal basically said, you know, if you want to be a major, you need to work your tournament into these dates. And also, you need to be able to invite 16 teams. Well, not invite 16 teams, but you need to have 16 teams at the main event, which I think is a pretty necessary thing to have in writing. I know the majors, both these upcoming majors, were going to be 16 teams anyway, but we did see one 8-team major last year, and that was a bit of a letdown. So it's good to have this in writing going forward. Obviously, it's late, but I guess better late than never. We talked about this a lot last week, how shoddy this organization looks up next to Overwatch League and the LCS. So I think this is a step in the right direction, but there's probably going to have to be more statements like this coming from Valve.
I agree. I'm glad that Valve seems to be taking a more hands-on approach. The only problem I have with this is that they are looking at having the grand finals of a major event essentially 3 months in a row, 1 month apart from each other. How is that? Like, it's a step in the right direction to say that you have to have time for all of these majors to take place. But, you know, we also have a problem in that we have three majors that are literally going to run back to back to back. Like, if they're, so say they're all not in the United States. So like
Probably
PPD
won't
would,
be.
if Optic is competing in every one of them, PPD leaves Denver, or I guess Dallas now, or Houston. I don't know where Optic's based. I think Dallas, but he's gonna be gone for like 6 months because they'll
Yeah.
go as soon as they can to the next location so they have time to set up in boot camp. It's just, whew, it makes almost no sense. Honestly, I think that they should be doing it that it's like, you know, we could maybe do like 2 minors in a month. And so then we have like, we could do like 4 minors and then a major so that there's a major every 3 months.
Yeah. I really thought they were gonna try and stick with the like seasonal theme, you know?
Yeah.
I'm surprised, to be honest, that they didn't go with that. I felt that that was probably the most successful part of the old, I guess you could call it, yeah, the old major system was having you had a predictable schedule like that where there was one for every season. Um, I don't know. I feel like right now there's just so much, the ball is so much in the court of these studios like PGL and ESL because without them, these events are probably just not going to happen, right? I mean, we've seen some small scale people try and step up to fill those shoes, but so far this year, the best examples we have of these new up and coming studios are you had GESC with their one canceled tournament, and they've got qualifiers going on right now, and then you have Fallout Gaming and Galaxy Battles, which, as we've already touched on, has just been a complete disaster. It starts tomorrow, but it's got a really, really strange pool of competing teams. I guess we can just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Galaxy Battles is still happening. I mean, I guess they weren't just going to be like, okay, well, Valve pulled our major status, go home, everyone.
I mean, shit, EG is still willing to go, so you got a tournament.
And you've got weird
and
version
TNC
of OG.
Yeah.
Team Spirit.
OG Light. I mean, regardless, I think TNC is going to be a pretty big draw to that tournament because it is in the Philippines. So that will at least be neat to see. But yeah, it's strange. And I assume that all these commentators have flown out to the event as well. So
yeah, but I think I saw a tweet this morning. I think it was Luminous Inverse.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Where he was like, "Yo, Galaxy Battles, you want to pick up your casters? It's been an hour
he got
and
picked
a half."
Up, though.
He got picked up, but they waited at the airport for an hour and a half.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the roster changes. Yeah. So the big number one roster change, I think, is definitely going to be Demon's new team, Team Admiral, of course.
I think it was
but really
Gods that pointed out with Team Admirable or Team Admiral. Yeah, they're going to be team. They finished admirably. Team Admirable. Yeah. That's what that's gonna be. I think it was Gods that pointed out that it was like, this is most of the old Clutch gamers, and they finished really well with that squad, and that I think it's Demon and RR, I think, are coming in for two of the former Clutch Gamers players, and I think they were like, those are both significant upgrades at those positions.
I think that in the region, this is honestly going to be an interesting team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Southeast Asia is just super unpredictable in how their qualifiers are going to go. Like, there's a couple top teams for sure, but you really never know which Southeast Asian team is going to show up at the event at the end of the day. So it'll definitely be entertaining to watch. But for real, though, the big news in that region is got to be the departure of Ohio from Fnatic and him getting replaced by Universe, which is a hell of a move. I mean, from EG to Southeast Asia, it doesn't get much more dramatic than that. And apparently he's been out there for a while before they announced the move officially. But I think the big topic on everyone's minds is this kicking of Ohio seems so sudden. And from the statement that they released today, it seems like he was kept in essentially the dark for most of it. Like they'd planned on this for a while and just not told him a thing.
This is going to be the last thing that we cover, so I guess we'll just kind of get into that, and then we'll talk about how we feel about how they handled it, and then I guess objectively Fnatic as a team moving forward. So I'll go ahead and read the post Ohio made on Facebook after being kicked, and he said, "After thinking for these few days, I'd like to talk about my feeling about how I got replaced by Universe. It's so sad and cruel after winning TNC and qualified to ESL Katowice Major main event. We had a pizza dinner to celebrate, but after we finished, I was informed by Adam, Fnatic coach, and Eric Core, the manager, I think that's Rain, that I've been replaced by Universe, and they told me that Universe arrived in Malaysia just the day before Fnatic versus TNC Grand Final, which was last Thursday. Universe stayed in Sama rental house after he arrived in Malaysia. Stays in another personal house due to his personal living. This is how cruel they are. No matter the tournament, win or lose, I will be replaced. I'm not upset about being replaced. I'm disappointed on being used by my teammates for their own benefit. They could just replace me once Universe is here, but not after we got the slot to ESL 1. Perhaps they worry about losing their major slot, or their slot to a major event, so they choose not to change Universe on that day. I sense that everyone knew the major is very important to each team and player, as I know some players got informed just 2-3 days ago before I got the news on Friday night. Actually, they should not be qualified for this major event by using this gimmick. I'm writing this because I'm too disappointed in the decision-making, in the decision-maker and accomplice that use someone's efforts just for their own benefit. A lie with a purpose is one of the worst kinds and the most profitable." So the gist of it is that there's so many problems in this that I really don't know where to start. But it's basically that Ohio feels used because it's like we were already competing for this major event and everybody knew that I was getting kicked except for me, and we fucking won. And then they tell me that I'm not going because I'm kicked. And that, hey, Universe is already here to replace you. And if it actually went down this way, like, that's so unprofessional and shitty. Of being like, hey, we replaced you with Universe, he got here a few days ago. See ya.
Yeah, it's a pretty cruel thing to do to a player. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense from a business standpoint if you know that you want to replace your offlaner, but you just don't have a replacement lined up yet. It's not like you're going to tell the guy, hey, thanks, we think you're great, but as soon as someone else steps up that wants to do your job, you're out the door. It's a pretty awful position for both parties involved, honestly. Like, this is a pretty snaky move from Fnatic, and they don't have the most friendly reputation as an org across all their games. They've done the old cut and burn a few times with their teams.
Their manager has a bad reputation. I remember getting shit as a Gosu Gamers employee because they thought that Rain still worked for us. And I had to explain, hey, this guy doesn't work for us anymore. And yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he's not our piece of shit.
Yeah, they've definitely been known to throw their weight around, just because they are one of the bigger, more established orgs out there. So this is something that they can get away with. I don't think a smaller organization could pull something like this and survive the PR blowback. But I'm pretty sure Fnatic is honestly going to be fine. Like in a week, people will have completely forgotten about this. They'll be posting Eternal Envy memes on Reddit again from his stream. And, Ohio's going to come out with a new team and people will say, oh, that's nice. Good for him. Good luck. This looks like a solid roster, blah, blah, blah.
We'll see. I don't know if Ohio will come out with a new team.
Well,
I think it might be some time.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
Fast enough.
But I think that this is going to blow over so quickly, and it's kind of a shame because
I hope it doesn't blow over quickly. Like this.
Yeah, it would be great if this kind of behavior would actually be called out. And
the thing that's interesting to me is that if this was Eternal Envy's decision, seems really similar to what happened to Misery on Secret when EE brought in Universe. Just pointing it out, just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, Ohio also said that all five, including 343 of the other guys on the team, knew that this was happening, and the Fnatic statement basically confirms that, which I found really, really ballsy. So I don't think this is, gonna be so on EE like some of his other roster moves have been.
Sure, I mean, but I mean, like, if it's his decision and they just let the team know, because like there's been situations that even I've been in like that where, especially if it's player run, they'll just come to me and be like, hey, we're gonna get rid of this player and we want you to help us find someone else. And it's like, well, holy shit, okay.
Then I'm surprised that he can still do it after so many years of not winning anything.
Dude, I think it's literally just a reputation thing. I really do. Yeah. So, like,
I was mostly joking, but yeah, you're right.
We will close this out with opinions on how, we think Fnatic moves forward. I think that Universe is definitely an improvement, but we even saw with that disastrous version of Secret that Universe is not a god. Universe he's not going to come into a team and just be like, all right, I'm going to improve all of your shit because I'm so smart. He's one of the best players out there, but you can't expect him to carry this team from the off lane.
Yeah, and, we'll see if he's even, playing well now. Like, I think his play definitely went downhill with the rest of EG towards the end of last year. I think he was not playing as well as he used to be, and we'll see if he can bounce back on this new team.
So, and I mean, even in Ohio's statement, if EE really lives apart from the other team, like he has his own house and the rest of them live together, that sends a message, like subconsciously, to those players that either A, he's better than us and we have to listen, or B, he's not really one of us. And we've seen this in other iterations, different teams. EE is always on a different page than his teammates. Always. Always, always, always. And we even saw on I think it was the TI4, I think it was the TI4 version of Cloud9, the one with No Tail, where EE was sitting at the summit talking about going for that rune as Quap, even though there were two heroes already on it. And he was like, I would have gone for that. And No Tail looks at him and goes, don't ever go for that. Please do not ever go for that if you're on a team with me. And then he did that later that day.
Yeah.
That's Eternal Envy. And, as long as he's distancing himself from his teammates and not playing on the same page and playing at the level that he's playing at, this team's not going anywhere. And maybe Universe can help turn some of those things around, but, it definitely didn't work on Secret.
Yep, we'll see how long this lasts.
What do we have coming up
so I think the next time that you will see us on this stream is going to be not next week, but the week after that. We will be here to talk about the ESL 1 Genting, not totally sure on the pronunciation of that, But we'll be here to be talking about that minor. It's going to be our first sighting of a couple of teams in the new year. Most notably, we get to see Team Liquid again and see if they have kept their form through this long break. So I believe that's going to be it for us today. Keep an eye out for us. See what the date on that is. It's going to be Wednesday the 31st. So the last day of January is going to be our next show.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, we are in a little bit of a lull situation right now with the major getting canceled, so that's not necessarily something that we'll cover in detail, as we really want to stick to the pro circuit. But we'll probably make some mention of that in the next show.
We'll tell you who wins,
yeah,
at least.
And maybe talk about if it meant anything. It probably won't.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we might see EG versus TNC, so whatever.
So if you guys want to talk to each of us individually about anything Dota related, if you're still hanging out here from the Overwatch podcast and you didn't hear me rant my information before, right beneath my picture here at Rafi Dota, you can follow me on Twitter. Please give me a follow. I need more followers than my boss. You can talk to me about anything Dota related, anything Overwatch League related. I'm happy to shout out opinions, take criticism, have discussions. If you want to talk to me about, I don't know, being former manager of Leviathan, get some juicy details on how much BSJ and I love each other. You can hit me up at Rafi Dota. Jack, where can the people be?
Quite a Twitter plug. Mine is down there. I'm definitely not as active on it, but if you want to come meme it up, I welcome it.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching. We may not be back next Wednesday, but the EGN podcast lineup will be back next Wednesday at the same time, same place. Thank you all so much for watching.